The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Brian Garcia here with Acuity, part of Acuity's support tech team, and I'll be the one presenting for today's NX Lunch and Learn. So we'll be getting starting here shortly. If there's any initial questions, go ahead and send them into the chat, and we'll try to take care of them. But yeah, thanks for coming along for the ride here. We do this the third Thursday of every month, so just like the slide says here. But as you guys know, this is the fourth Thursday of the month, actually. So I think leap year got in the way there and kind of shuffled things forward. So I think we have 5 Thursdays in March. So, anyways, the topic of conversation this month is going to be NX CAD and how to create user-defined features. The acronym UDF that everybody's always used to talking about in NX, and prior to that, Unigraphic Solutions. So we'll get started shortly. So just kind of kick back and relax, and I'm probably going to give you a little tour of the website here, of the Acuity website. Before I do that, here's my contact information. Again, Brian Garcia, application engineer at Acuity, and my email there and my phone number. So feel free to use those to contact me, and we can have a one-on-one session or answer any support questions that you might have. I'm actually based in the Midwest in northern Lower Michigan in the Big Mitt. So as you guys know, Acuity is headquartered in Portland, Oregon. So we've got offices in the Pacific Northwest and through the Midwest to support all of our customers in those regions. So please let us know if there's any questions that you guys have, or trouble with the software, or just curious about certain things. We can always get on the phone and try to assist you and put together some kind of a impromptu demo as well. So while we're waiting for others to join us, let's go ahead and look at that Acuity website here. We put a lot of time and effort into this in the last year, so we try to make sure there's a little something for everybody on the website. So kudos to our Acuity team in that area. They really put a lot of thought into this. So a lot of good stuff here. So if you go through the different tabs, you'll find probably what you're looking for, representative for whatever industry that you're part of. Main thing I wanted to get to you guys here today is that service and support area that I'm part of. And so make sure you kind of look at this. If you have a question or something's not working right with the software, immediately first thing if I was you, I'd come to this website, and you can scroll down here to all our contact information. We have a toll-free support line here, and if you're in the Portland area, we've got a direct number there as well. And then for non-urgent things, we've got the support at acuityinc.com website or email address. So use whatever one makes sense. And I do apologize initially with the phone support. Actually, you'll get an automated voice, but as soon as you leave a description and your phone number there, that gets emailed to our whole support team, which is about half a dozen of us, and that's in our inbox. And I'm usually responding within 5 or 10 minutes, as well as the other guys are. So we'll either kind of do some triage, or we'll schedule some time to work with you on whatever issue it is. So just some information to keep handy there as you're working through your day. One last thing, just want to kind of direct you here to the Lunch and Learns as well. So any of the other upcoming ones that you want to register, go ahead and register on those. You can see all the list of topics. We kind of fluctuate between NX, CAD, and CAM to support all of our customers in those areas. We also have Solid Edge Lunch and Learns as well. We're always updating our training, so always customize classes as well. Got the email there if you're interested in doing that. Different areas of consulting. We deal with a lot of product data management, and product lifecycle management stuff these days. I'm usually one of the guys coming on site to install that stuff. So if you have any questions, let me know. And without further ado, we're about 5 after the hour here. Let's get started to the task at hand. Before we actually get started, let's just do a quick kind of a technical check here. If you guys can hear me, go ahead and raise your hand. I just want to make sure everything's working okay. All right, looks like that's working fine. What about a visual? Everyone can see the screen here. I've got my contact information up here. Go ahead and raise your hand there as well. Great. Thanks a lot, you guys. we'll get started. And I'm going to be working in NX7.5 today, and actually NX8 as well. But again, creating user-defined features inside of NX can be very helpful. It can save a lot of time. Basically, you have a group of features, something that you're doing repetitively, and maybe you want to kind of automate that process and share that with the team that you're working with. So I'm going to just get right to it here. I've got a part that I'm working with, and working along my resource bar here. I think we're all familiar with the Assembly Navigator, Part Navigator, and then all the other tabs that are along here. But the one that we're going to be concerned or focused on today is this reuse library. So if I go ahead and open this up, let me collapse this. Typically, this is what you might see here, depending on what different parts of NX software that you're using. But here's the out-of-the-box UDF library. So if I open that up, initially you would not see this My UDFs. I actually configured that, and we'll get into that towards the end of the demonstration, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But here's the out-of-the-box UDFs, which is you get two different folders here, English and metric. So you kind of make sure you sort those out. Before I work on this, let me go ahead and I'm just going to demonstrate a couple of these out-of-the-box UDFs so you can see what that looks like. So I'm just go ahead and click New. We'll work in English units here. And I'm just going to drop a cube out here. Let's see, block. Click OK. And so the way these work is, I'm going to go ahead and click in my English folder here, and I've got these 4 out-of-the-box UDFs. So all I do is drag out here in space, and then the preview window comes up, and it actually, this is pretty helpful. All your if you put your cursor in here, all the same I want to say right mouse button and zoom keys kind of work in here. Right mouse click if you need to zoom into a certain area. But what this is doing, when the person actually developed this UDF, it also captured the different faces that it's attached to and different dimensions that need to be applied to locate this user-defined feature. So the first thing is kind of walking me through the process here. So the first thing is pick a face. And actually there's only one step in this one. Sometimes, coming up here you'll see additional steps as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this top face here, and I've already completed that. So then the other items on this dialog box are the different parameters. So I've got hole depth here, size, and then what kind of fit is it going to be. So I can change that. Let me bump this up to like 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So the way this one is designed is it puts you into this positioning command, and so typically I just want to locate this maybe by an edge. I just want to put that right on center. Click OK. Grab my other positioning command, and we'll put 2 units in for that as well. So as you can see, there's my feature there, my cap screw that I put in. Just turn on some. You can see how that's positioned in there. So if I wanted to, I could go back to my Part Navigator, and you'll see here, basically this operation, this might be several steps on your Part Navigator if you're going to do this by yourself, or with the actual real steps. But as you can see here, this is just one item on this Part Navigator. Right mouse click, edit parameters, just like a lot of your features in NX will get you to this dialog box that you originally used to complete this. So I can modify this stuff as I go here. Maybe I want to bump that up to 3/4, and then hole depth 3.5. So those update accordingly. So just kind of a quick preview of the out-of-the-box UDFs that come with it. If we flip back over here to our card holder, I've created my own custom UDFs in my folder here. So I have this folder here, and I've got a bunch of them here I've been testing. But this particular one here, if I want to go ahead and grab this and drag this out in space, same kind of situation. Kind of walks me through the different steps. So you'll notice there's 3 references that I need to resolve here, though. So the first one is the base face. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this face. Just one little word of caution: make sure on your selection bar here I think by default you may tangent faces or whatever you kind of had set for your selection bar, the last operation you were doing. It might kind of mess you up a little bit, but you usually want to be picking a single face here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that. And then middle mouse button or just a single click will move you to the next operation here. So I can go ahead and then it's asking me for basically a base profile. You know, where is this text that I'm going to be applying here? So this is, again, yeah, just I guess to preface this, you know, a lot of people use these UDFs for, you know, maybe embossing or engraving, you know, their company logo or something like this that they're constantly using all the time. So, you know, this is kind of something I thought you guys might utilize. But yeah, part of this would be actually, you know, how is this text going to be orientated and where is it going to flow along? So I'm picking this baseline, middle mouse button, and then it wants me to pick what, you know, solid model is this going to be extruded, cut, or joined to. So it's going to be this model here. So once I've satisfied all those, I can come up here and I can decide if I want to change some of these parameters. Maybe I want that to be 1.5 and the overall height, let's round that up to a 0.5, and then we'll come back and we'll modify some of these once we get this placed. But yeah, at this point I'm comfortable with that. I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and it's going to run through the process of applying that text and extruding that feature. So again, if I go back to my part navigator here, you can see it's just one node or one feature on the part navigator. So at this point in time, I can right mouse click here on the part navigator, or if I highlight this, I can say edit parameters as well, and it gets me right back to my dialog box. So here, I know I can choose to, maybe my end limit, I want to bump that out a little further, 0.5. And then maybe my offset controls how high the text is going to be. So maybe I need to bump that up a little bit. And you got to be careful. Some of these values, if you tweak them, it might move the geometry outside a certain area which would make it fail. So you just kind of got to play with it. And then you know, kind of adjust it accordingly. Just kind of know where its limitations are. So that's one way of working there. Let's see if there's another one here I wanted to show you as well. Let me go to let's see this feature here. So this is one I've already actually created a UDF of this already. So if I come here, you can notice that there's multiple features here. I've got a chamfer, I've got an edge blend, and I have the original boss that created this whole feature. Well, I went through the steps and actually created this through using the wizard here inside of NX. And yeah, maybe I'll do that again on this one. Let me go ahead and exit out of that. So the wizard is located underneath the tools menu here. So down arrow there, and then you're going to come over here in wizard. And so you're actually going to just say no library here. And I'm going to call this post_1, some random name, copy, and my part name. So what I'm going to do is, even though you can have any part model open here, and you can kind of go and grab and borrow these different features off of it, and it's just going to create a brand new part off of it. It's not actually going to save anything to the part that you're taking this geometry from. So working our way through the wizard here, well, I should back that up too. There's one thing, depending on how you want to capture this image, you know, I may want whatever you have zoomed in on your graphics windows, what the image is going to be. So maybe I want to zoom in a little closer here and then hit my little capture image to see what that is. Go ahead and click next here, and then the key here is I need to make sure I'm picking enough of this geometry to define this user defined feature. So I'm going to pick those three things that make up that feature and move those over into this area, which tells me the exact features that I'm going to be utilizing here. One of the things in the wizard, you know, if you're an administrator of the CAD system, you know, you may want to kind of dummy proof this a little bit, and you may want to turn off allow feature explosion, so users only have a certain amount of things available to them, and you know, maybe you have a certain company standards and you don't want people making changes to this stuff. So you could choose to check this box or not check it depending on what you want to do. next. And the same can be said for these items as well. So these are the actual expressions and the values that you filled in when you created this feature. So I can choose to move different things over here. If you didn't want them to change any of these things, maybe the offset of the chamfer was hard-coded. You didn't want anything or that, or the diameter. And the other thing is that you can change these names. These are names that come out of NX initially. For whatever reason they're named a certain thing. Once we start looking at certain dimensions here, you'll see coming up, it can be a little bit confusing on what actually it's asking you for. So if you have some kind of company name or nomenclature, you can type that in here and change that as well. For diameter, well, all these expressions, you can actually apply expression rules, which we'll get into as well. You can have none, so anybody can put anything in there, or you can have whole numbers, round numbers, or by number range, which includes decimal points, or by options. So maybe for the diameter, we only want a certain number on it. We can come in here. Let me do an analysis actually. Do a radius. So this is a metric part. So 12.5 is the radius. I'm going to hit cancel there. So maybe I want 25 and then 30 are the only two sizes that I want. So I could hit the checkbox here. And now only those two values will be available for the diameter. So that could be handy in certain situations. Let's go to the next here. And so yeah, for this one there's only there's basically defining the location is kind of embedded in the boss command as well. So we only need to pick a plane for this one. So this makes this really easy. So let's go click next, and we can review all of our values that we put in here. And then let's go ahead and click finish. So now what it actually did is it saved that part, and it's actually in our home environment where we've designated for all of our our NX files that are going to be saved. So I'm pretty much done with this file. What I need to do next, though, to kind of solidify this going through the wizard, is I'm going to go to my UDF folder that I've defined. Mine is at the root of my C folder here, but you could put that on any kind of server path to make life easier for the rest of your users. You can share that, and so that's where all this is going to reside. But where I actually truly have my default NX75 data folder is in this folder. And then here's the two new files that I just created. So I've got this CGM file, which is a thumbnail image, and then the PRT file, the actual UDF file. So I'm going to go ahead and copy those. And let's go ahead and go back into the UDF directory. I'm going to put this in my Lunch and Learn folder. Let's go ahead and paste that in there. So now let's go ahead and open up a different part. Let's see. And let's test this. So I'm looking at my part navigator. This is the features that make this up. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab off of my resource bar. Let's go to our UDF folder, and I want to make since I created this on the fly and I haven't loaded, I might need to do a refresh. And so now I can see there's my post that actually showed up. So let's go ahead and drag that out here in space. So if I zoom that out again, I can get my preview of my image of what's happening here. And I want to place it on that plane. And then let's try a few different options here. So as I was saying earlier, I only have two options for my diameter. So maybe I want to do a 30 millimeter diameter. And let's go, I don't know, 25 for the height here. And we'll just go ahead and click OK on that. So then the next option, the first option was the boss command. So we have to place this and locate this. So maybe I want to place this from this edge. We'll go 40 units. And pick up another edge over here. And let's go 60 on that. Go ahead and click OK. And then it resolves that. And it And then the other features, the chamfer and the fillet, it also applies those as well. So that's pretty handy. You can group multiple features together. And if I look at my part navigator, notice it is just one feature on there. Now the right mouse click, again, edit parameters. I can get back to this and make some more modifications if I need to do so. Maybe I want to bump that up to 40. Now the other thing you can do as well is, let's see here, if I want to actually get at the root of those features, if I go edit parameters here, like I was talking about earlier, you can have it so it's an option to explode this UDF. So if I click on that, notice what happens is it extracts all those features out of here, and now I actually have the real edge blend available to me. So now if I go right mouse button, edit parameters, now I'm into the actual edge blend dialog box that we're all used to seeing. So you're not, and again, like I was saying, it's up to you as an admin to just make those choices. And if you guys have on-site user groups, you kind of can have discussions about that and see what makes sense for your customer site. I'm going to do an undo on that, bring that back to this. Just kind of pushing the limits of this. A little bit more powerful thing is I can go right mouse click here, and I'm going to go copy, and then I can say, let's see, paste, and it puts me into this paste feature here. So now it's kind of in a similar situation. It's asking me for a face to paste this on. I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and then it puts me back into this positioning command. So maybe I want to take it from this edge. Click OK, and then I'll pick another edge as well. Click OK, and so now we've got two of them there. So again, I only have two line items here for my features, which is kind of nice. Kind of as always, a best practice, you're trying to make sure that that part navigator is kind of as small as possible. So when you're doing your replays, it's going to replay a lot faster. So that was one way to get a duplicate, I guess, feature out there. And then another way, you could, this is supported with using the instant feature as well. So if I say, rectangular array, I can grab that post UDF off of there, click OK, and then I can say number along here. Let's go 40 along the X direction, 40 units in that direction. Let's see what we get here. So yeah, so it satisfies that as well. So just you have to kind of look at your day-to-day operations and kind of figure out what makes sense. This may not work for everybody, but there's, as we all know in CAD, there's probably about 3 times, sometimes 4 different ways to do things here. So you just got to figure out which way is best for what you're doing, and try to see the future and what might be changing. It's kind of inevitable. The world we live in, there's always changing coming down the pipe. So if you can kind of build your models to accommodate those changes coming down the pipe, then life will be a little bit easier in that respect. So at this point, I guess I'll pause. What I want to do is I'm going to go through actually trying to show you guys how to set this up in your own environment, and we'll kind of push the limits a little more here. If there's any questions, go ahead and send them into the chat window there, and we'll try to take care of them as we can. And one question coming in here, yeah, the files can be put anywhere on your local system or on a server location somewhere. And actually, let me do a little deeper dive on that. Here in my NX75 environment, which will be the same in 8, you're going to go into Utilities, Customer Defaults. You guys already saw I already have an operating system folder where I'm storing all those files, right? Got the CGM file and then the actual part file. So again, these are all at the root of C here, but they can exist anywhere. It just has to have write access to it. So kind of drilling down here in the Gateway tab underneath Customer Defaults, you'll find the Reuse Library, and this is where I've actually set up underneath the UDF tab. This is where you can define whatever name that you want to call it on your Resource Bar tab, and then the actual path to where it exists. So let's go through that operation. I'm going to switch over to NX8 here actually, and we'll go through setting this up and then kind of go through the wizard again to see how that all works. So here's NX8, and then so the first thing I would want to do is, knowing that I wanted to set up a UDF directory, I'm going to make, like I said, I can go anywhere here, but I'm going to go File, New, Folder. We'll call this NX8 underscore UDFs. And you want to be careful. If you are, I know a lot of customers out there are working in a lot of different versions of NX, so you want to make sure you kind of differentiate the different folders, because one file is going to be at a certain version and they're not going to be compatible with each other. So that's kind of why I'm dividing it up like this. So I go ahead and accept that, and then let me just drill down into that folder just to make life easier. I'm going to copy that. And then, and actually just to start out with here, I guess I do have a couple files here. So this is my card holder again. Here, let me see what the units are. I'm in millimeters here. So as you can see, my UDF library, I don't have my custom library in there yet. So what I need to do is I need to go into my file, Utilities, Customer Defaults, Gateway, Reuse Library, UDF Library, and then right below the out-of-the-box UDF one is where I'm going to, again, you can name this anything that you want. I'm just call it Brian's UDFs. And then you want to do a pipe symbol here, and then put the path for where that is. And like I said, you can have a server path, a UNC path pointing to some server directory. And so that, like if you're just kind of a mom and pop shop, it might not be that big of a deal, but everybody can have their own UDFs. But if you're sharing files at all with other coworkers, it might be nice to stick that up on the server somewhere for everyone to access. So once that's complete, I'm going to go ahead and click OK here. And just like always, in changing any of these customer defaults, you have to reload them. So I'm going to exit out of NX8 here, and then go ahead and start it back up. So I'm going to go ahead and let's bring up the card holder. I'm actually just going to simulate that text that I was doing earlier. That might be useful for you guys. So so here I am, and again, I want to make sure I'm in the correct unit. So if I open this up, I've got Brian's UDFs, and maybe I want to do a right mouse button, new folder in here, and I want to do the same thing. I want to have some English parts and probably some metric parts. So I go ahead and create those folders. And then I'm just going to do another subfolder. Call this Lunch and Learn 2. And actually, well, since I'm going to be doing since this is a metric part, I'll be doing a metric UDF. So, okay, now I've got the stage set here. Now I can go ahead and start creating my UDFs. So yeah, initially I just want to create some geometry out there, maybe add some more geometry to this part navigator. So I'm going to go ahead and insert, and then curve and text. So here's the text dialog box. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say on face. So I'm going to go ahead and pick face. And again, you want to make sure I'm set the tangent faces here. Let's go single face. Go ahead and pick that face, and then I'm going to select my placement method, which is that. And then there's, I think, well, NX6 had a lot of these drag handles, but they really kind of put some nice drag handles in here for a lot of this stuff, controlling the different size of the text, what have you. This is my Acuity card holder here, and then you got a whole array of different scripts and fonts that you can choose to pick here. Picking the old California FB here. That's in the right location. Maybe just bump it up just a little bit here. Then we go ahead and click OK. So then the next operation. Okay, go ahead and use the drag handles here. bump that out. Let's go 1 millimeter. And then new for actually NX75 is this inferred Boolean operation command. I know some of you may have utilized it already. Depending on if you're going into the part or out of the part, it might give you different results. So I think with this text, though, since it's actually not fully joined yet, you're not getting that, but just something to be aware of. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually say I want to unite this. And let's go ahead and click OK. So again, there's my geometry. And the way it looks on the part navigators, I've got two operations here. So now I want to create a UDF to share this with other individuals or just kind of recycle this geometry. So I'm going to go up to my tools icon. Let's go user-defined feature wizard. And again, I want to make sure we're kind of zoomed into something that makes sense here. I'm going to hit the F8 command to get, so I'm looking right down the barrel here. There we go. Acuity logo. Copy that into there. Let's move on to the next screen. And so again, like I was saying, I have a whole list of all this stuff is totally valid to make a UDF out of, but really the two last items are what I really want to use. So let's go over there. And then maybe I don't want to do an explosion. I don't want people making modifications. This is like our company logo, and it's basically we've decided these are the parameters, and no one's going to make changes to it. So I can go ahead and activate that. And I can move the different expressions over depending on what I want here. Now the start limit, maybe I don't really need that one, so I can take that out of there. I just want to say extrude distance here. And then hit the enter key to modify that. And then maybe I want to add some options here for that. Maybe we only want 1 and 2 millimeters. So I go ahead and add that as well. Length. To me, maybe that doesn't make sense for the text. Maybe I want that to actually say width of the text. So I go ahead and enter that, and height sounds fine to me. And offset will just be the location of where that is from the profile that we actually selected. So, and again, you have arrows here to kind of adjust where you want to be first and last and that kind of fun stuff there. Let's go next, and then these are going to be the three kind of required items that need to be selected, vectors and placement for the geometry. So let's go ahead and finish that. And so that's already created already. And again, a lot of times what I do to test this, I'm already on the original part already. I'll go ahead and delete these. And then before I can actually test it, as you remember, I have to go and place those into the correct spots here. So let's go, my home folder is underneath Documents, my Acuity work, and then there's my NX8 data folder. And so there's right at the top there, Acuity logo and Acuity logo, the PRT file. Right mouse button and copying those. And let's jump over to there we are, NX8 UDF folder. And those are going to metric. Paste those in there. And that's all we need to do. And now we can go over to our resource bar tab. And let's go refresh here. And now there's our new logo. It's available for us. So again, kind of coming full circle here. I can go ahead and drag this out. I can whip this around, and it's telling me the different operations I need to do here. So again, there's my base face. Middle mouse button will advance it to the next operation. Well, it looks like I may have made a mistake here, because it looks like, see how it's zipping around the edge of here? I had tangent curve selected, so we'll see how this actually satisfies itself here. You might have to redo it, but I'm going to go ahead and pick that edge, middle mouse button, and then this is going to be the extrusion right there. So again, I can adjust these. Again, there's my list of values if I want to do 2 millimeter extrusion distance. Maybe my width, let's round that up to 40. Height's fine. Offset, let's go with the regular defaults there. Click OK, and it looks like it's all going to work out for us. So now if I look on my part navigator, there's that just one feature on there. And if I go right mouse click, either on the part navigator or on screen in the graphics window on the actual UDF, I can get to the edit parameters and make changes to this. So maybe my offset is too much. I want to lower that a little bit. So let's go to 5. Click OK. And now that lowers that logo a little bit. So, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Kind of showed you a couple of different options there, some of the out-of-the-box stuff, and how you can create your own custom UDF files to kind of streamline your modeling experience here. So let's see if there's anything. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys. Again, you can kind of get really complicated with this stuff. You kind of push the limits, and you can, as you saw in that other an NX75 that I was demonstrating, you can pick multiple features, and that's a huge benefit. Because just one extrusion is not going to really save you a bunch of time a lot of times. When you're grouping a bunch of these things together and saving yourself some time, that's where the power is right there. So with that said, you guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to present today. Let me know if there's any questions out there. I'll stay online for another couple of minutes here. I'll bring this up. There's my contact information if anybody has any questions, and yeah, I'll be more than happy to. If you guys want to take a look at this one-on-one, we can set up a time and I can review this again with you. But appreciate everybody's attention, and hopefully everybody's having a good experience out there with NX, I guess whatever version you're on. Where I think I don't know. I'm not sure if the NX is going to be going to NX 8.5 or if they're going to roll to 9, but that might be happening a little bit sooner rather than later here, coming up this summer. So we'll keep you posted on that to get the latest and greatest releases. But again, appreciate your time. Thanks for your attention, and let me know if there's anything we can do to make your experience with the CAD software any better. And I guess I'll either hear you on the cell or catch up with you on the support line, or see you on site sometime, you guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend. Take care.